What if the most powerful technology ever created isn't just changing our lives, but quietly reshaping society in ways we barely understand? What if the same systems promising efficiency, intelligence, and progress are also amplifying inequality, eroding privacy, and making decisions we can't fully explain or control? Artificial intelligence is everywhere now, from the phones in our pockets to the systems deciding who gets a loan, a job interview, or even parole. And yet, behind the glossy product launches and optimistic headlines, there's a darker side of AI that the tech industry rarely wants to talk about. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. Artificial intelligence is often presented as inevitable and neutral, just math, just code, just machines learning patterns. But AI is not created in a vacuum. It is built by humans, trained on human data, deployed in human systems, and shaped by economic incentives that don't always align with public good. Understanding the problems with AI doesn't mean rejecting innovation. It means asking harder questions about power, accountability, and consequences before those questions are answered for us. To understand AI's dark side, we need to start with one uncomfortable truth. AI systems inherit human bias at scale. Machine learning models are trained on massive datasets drawn from the real world, historical records, online behavior, social media, images, text, and the real world is deeply unequal. Numerous peer-reviewed studies have shown that facial recognition systems perform significantly worse on women and people with darker skin tones. A 2018 IT Media Lab study found error rates of under 1% for light-skinned men, but up to 34% for dark-skinned women. These weren't fringe tools, they were commercial systems used by governments and corporations. Bias in AI doesn't just cause technical glitches, it affects real lives. In the United States, algorithmic risk assessment tools like Compass have been used in criminal justice to predict recidivism. An investigation by ProPublica found that the system disproportionately labeled Black defendants as higher risk, even when they did not reoffend, while white defendants were more likely to be labeled low risk despite committing future crimes. The company disputed the findings, but independent researchers have repeatedly shown that fairness in predictive systems is not automatic. When biased systems are embedded in legal or financial decisions, discrimination becomes automated and harder to challenge. Another rarely discussed issue is how AI concentrates power. Developing advanced AI systems requires enormous resources, massive datasets, specialized talent, and vast computing infrastructure. As a result, cutting-edge AI development is dominated by a small number of large technology companies and a handful of governments. This concentration gives unprecedented influence to private entities over information flows, labor markets, and even political discourse. Decisions about how AI systems are trained, what data they use, and how they are deployed are often made behind closed doors, protected by trade secrets rather than governed by public oversight. This lack of transparency leads directly to another major problem. AI systems are increasingly opaque, even to their creators. Many modern models, especially deep neural networks, function as black boxes. They can produce highly accurate predictions, but explaining exactly how they arrived at a specific decision is often extremely difficult. This poses serious challenges in high-stakes contexts like healthcare, finance, and law. If an AI system denies someone a mortgage, recommends a medical treatment, or flags a person as a security risk, who is accountable when the decision is wrong? The algorithm did it is not a meaningful explanation or a fair one. Opacity also undermines trust. In medicine, for example, AI systems have shown promise in analyzing medical images and predicting disease. But studies published in journals like Nature Medicine have emphasized that without interpretability and rigorous clinical validation, such systems can fail silently. In some cases, models have been found to rely on irrelevant signals, like hospital-specific markings on X-rays, rather than actual signs of disease. When deployed without careful oversight, these tools can reinforce errors instead of reducing them. Then there's the issue of data exploitation. AI systems thrive on data, personal data. Every search query, voice command, location ping, and online interaction can become training material. While companies often claim this data is anonymized, research has shown that re-identification is frequently possible. especially when multiple datasets are combined. A famous study in Nature demonstrated that 87% of Americans could be uniquely identified using just zip code, gender, and date of birth. As AI systems grow more sophisticated, the line between anonymous data and personal surveillance continues to blur. This data hunger fuels what many researchers describe as surveillance capitalism. AI-driven analytics are used to predict behavior, influence choices, and optimize engagement, often without users fully understanding what they've consented to. Social media recommendation algorithms, powered by machine learning, are designed to maximize attention because attention drives advertising revenue. Internal research disclosed by whistleblowers and investigative journalists has shown that these systems can amplify misinformation, polarizing content, and emotionally charged material because it keeps users engaged longer. The result isn't just addictive platforms, it's measurable social harm. Political manipulation is another reminder that AI is not neutral. During elections around the world, automated systems have been used to target voters with personalized messages. The Cambridge Analytica scandal revealed how data-driven psychological profiling could be exploited to influence political behavior at scale. While the technology has evolved since then, the underlying risk remains. Generative AI tools can now produce realistic text, images, audio, and video, making disinformation cheaper and faster to spread. Deepfakes, once a novelty, are increasingly convincing and have already been used in scams, harassment campaigns, and political misinformation. The economic impact of AI is also far more complex than the optimistic narratives suggest. Automation driven by AI has the potential to boost productivity, but it also threatens to displace workers across a wide range of industries, not just manual labor, but white-collar jobs once thought immune. Research by economists at institutions like MIT and the OECD indicates that AI exposure is highest in jobs involving routine cognitive tasks, such as data analysis, customer service, and administrative work. While new jobs may emerge, the transition is unlikely to be smooth or evenly distributed. History shows that technological revolutions often increase inequality before benefits spread more widely, and AI may accelerate this pattern. Companies that own AI systems can scale output without proportionally increasing labor, capturing more value while wages stagnate. Without strong policy interventions, such as reskilling programs, labor protections, and updated social safety nets, the gap between those who benefit from AI and those who are displaced by it could widen significantly. There's also a global dimension to AI's dark side. Most large AI models are trained on data dominated by content from wealthy, English-speaking countries. This skews performance and cultural relevance, marginalizing languages, perspectives, and communities from the global south. Moreover, data extraction often happens without meaningful consent or compensation. Researchers have documented how images, text, training large AI models requires enormous computational power, which translates directly into energy consumption. A widely cited 2019 study from the University of Massachusetts Amherst estimated that training a single large natural language processing model could emit as much carbon as 5 cars over their entire lifetimes. While hardware efficiency has improved since then, model sizes and usage have grown even faster. Data centers now account for a significant and rising share of global electricity demand, and the environmental footprint of AI is becoming harder to ignore. Perhaps the most profound concern is how AI subtly reshapes human decision-making. As we increasingly rely on algorithmic recommendations, what to watch, who to date, which route to drive, which candidate to hire, we may begin to defer judgment to systems we don't fully understand. Psychologists and sociologists have warned about automation bias, the tendency to trust machine outputs even when they conflict with human intuition or evidence. Over time, this can erode critical thinking and professional expertise, turning humans into passive overseers rather than active decision makers. None of these problems mean AI is inherently evil or that progress should stop. AI has delivered real benefits in science, medicine, accessibility, and efficiency. But the dominant narrative that AI problems are purely technical and will be solved automatically with better code is dangerously incomplete. Many of the risks we've discussed are social, political, and economic. They require governance, transparency, and public debate, not just faster processors and larger datasets. Encouragingly, researchers, policymakers, and civil society organizations around the world are pushing for more responsible AI development. The European Union's AI Act, for example, aims to regulate high-risk AI systems and enforce transparency and accountability. Academic fields like AI ethics and algorithmic fairness are growing rapidly, but regulation often lags behind innovation, and meaningful oversight depends on public awareness and pressure. This brings us back to the question we started with. If AI is shaping the future, who gets to decide how it's used and who bears the cost when things go wrong? The dark side of AI isn't a single flaw or villain. It's a collection of systemic issues that thrive in silence, complexity, and hype. Talking about them openly isn't anti-technology. It's pro-human. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to like this video. It really helps the channel reach more people who care about understanding the world behind the headlines. Subscribe if you want more deep, research-driven stories about technology, power, and the future we're building together. And stay connected, because the conversation about AI is just getting started, and it's one we all need to be part of.